Hello friends, it's Bill and you're watching Bill's Box of Sound. Now, it's 2024. The year has changed. And once again, a vinyl tag is upon us. And it's taken me a while to get my vinyl tag done because of all sorts of things. I'm really busy and there's so many vinyl tags to do. There's the original vinyl tag. There's the alternative vinyl tag. There is the jazz vinyl tag. There is the CD tag. There's the prog vinyl tag. The punk vinyl tag. And I don't know, maybe there's an easy listening vinyl tag. Maybe there's a metal vinyl tag. Maybe there's a stoner rock vinyl tag. Or maybe there's a 7-inch record tag or a 10-inch record tag. But you know what? I'm just going to stick with the original 20 questions. The first one that I saw. I'll try to do this as quickly and as efficiently as I can. First question. The favorite record that you purchased in 2023? Well, like a lot of us, I purchased a lot of records in 2023, but the one record that made me the happiest to pick up and that I was just overjoyed because I actually got it was this one, because I never thought I would be able to see this on vinyl. It's Marvelous 3, Hey Album. Now, who are these guys, if you don't already know? So it's Butch Walker on guitars and lead vocals, Jace Fisher on bass and backup vocals, and Slug on drums and backup vocals. I remember buying this for like $2 in a used CD store, just because the cover looked interesting. Took it home, put the album on, it was absolutely blown away. This is expertly written and played power pop, and this came out in 1999. This album kind of caused me to follow Butch Walker for a while, and to be honest, nothing has ever come up to how wonderful this is. None of the other Marvelous 3 albums, none of his subsequent solo work. He is an in-demand producer, though, and he's done a lot of work there. But I implore you to go online and listen to this album if you have not yet. It's great. Now, for a while, Run Out Groove had this album in the running to be voted a record of the month, but it never won. So all of a sudden, Real Gone Music went and upped the ante and put it out on pink vinyl. It's pretty good. It's a long album, but they fit it on one LP, and the sound isn't really that bad. So yay for Hey Album, the album that I was just so happy to get, and I was so happy with. So yeah, this is my most satisfying purchase in 2023. Although there was a heck of a lot of other things. Question number 2. What was the last record that you bought in 2023? Well, the last album that I happened to get was this one. An original jazz classic reissue, The Cats, with Tommy Flanagan, John Coltrane, Kenny Burrell, and Idris Suleiman. This is in mono. It was originally released in '59. And this is a Kraft Recordings OJC, remastered by Kevin Gray. Sounds absolutely wonderful. It's The Cats on Kraft Records OJC series. Question number 3. A band or singer who released 2 or more albums in the same year. Well, that's really easy, because if you are familiar with my channel, you know that I'm a big Frank Zappa fan. And in 1970, he released both Weasels Rip My Flesh and Burnt Weenie Sandwich. But you know what? He also released a solo album, Chunka's Revenge. So that was 3 albums in the year of 1970. But a lot of bands back in the late 60s and early 70s put out more than one album a year. Zappa did that in 84 too. In 1984, he put out Boulez Conducts Zappa, The Perfect Stranger, Pierre Boulez, recording Frank Zappa's orchestral works. Them or Us, Thingfish, and also Francesco Zappa. 1984, all four of those albums came out. Very cool. So that's my answer to question number 3. Question number 4. If you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade would you choose? I don't like this question. This is a science fiction question. If there was some sort of time warp where all the music in the world got obliterated except for one decade, what would it be? And you know what? There's a lot of great decades. I don't have a favorite decade. But if I had to pick one decade that I could only listen to that one for the rest of my life, it would have to be the 60s, because that was the time of the greatest amount of change in styles of music. From pop music from 1960 to 1969, you got to see rock and roll go into folk rock, to go into progressive rock, to go into psychedelic rock. And there were still a lot of good jazz records being produced in the 60s. I mean, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Joe Henderson, Bobby Hutcherson, Tony Williams. Lots of great jazz records being put out then. And of course, classical records were still being released. And digital recording had not been invented yet. So it was all good. If such a science fiction scenario actually existed, the 60s would be the decade that I want to listen to. I love the 70s. I love the 80s. I love the 90s. I even love today's music. Even though with my advanced age, I'm starting to dislike some of the stuff that's coming out. But that's just part of aging. And the 50s were pretty damn good too. But the 60s, yeah, that wins out. Question number 5. Show a record by a band or singer from Manchester. Well, that's an easy answer for me. Magazine, band led by Howard Devoe after he left the Buzzcocks. They put out several records in the 80s. John McGeoch on guitars, John Doyle on drums, Dave Formula on keyboards, Barry Adamson on bass, and Howard Devoe on vocals. Great band, produced several fantastic albums. I think I've got all Magazine's albums except for one. I think it was called The Correct Use of Soap. Yep, Mighty Manchester. This is a great album from a great band. Question number 6. Which band or singer did you listen to the most in 2023? Well, it's pretty obvious. The artist I listened to the most was Frank Zappa. There were several releases that came out by Frank Zappa, and I listened to all of them repeatedly. And I've also done some work. I'm now a contributing producer to the Zappa cast, and that entails a lot of listening to Zappa and commenting on Zappa. I would have to say that that's the one artist that I listened to the most in 2023. Not sorry for it. Very happy to admit it, because you know I'm a Zappa lifer. I'm not going to carry on too long about that. Okay. Show 7 7-inch records. Hang on. I got to go grab some. Okay, here's 7 7-inch records for you. We're going to start with this one. They're Coming to Take Me Away, Ha Ha, by Napoleon the 14th, who sadly passed away this year. And the flip side, They're Coming to Take Me Away, Ha Ha, backwards. Oh, how I love this. This is one of the most treasured 45s I have. Number 2, Ascension by John Coltrane. Now, wait a minute. What's going on, you're saying? This is not a 7-inch record. This is an entire album that's just one track. Well, strangely enough, They used to make these 33 RPM records for jukeboxes, and they were 7-inch records, and this one had a segment of Ascension on both sides. It was one of the weirdest oddities I've ever seen, and it was given to me by my good friend, Just Melcher. Thanks, Mark. Number 3, an XTC single, 10 Feet Tall, on the Virgin label, and flip side has 2 non-LP sides, Helicopter and The Somnambulist. Actually, no, Helicopter is actually on the album Drums and Wires, but this is a lovely little 45 RPM. And is this a US? Yeah, this is a US issue. Dig it. Number 4, The Residents, Duck Stab. Yeah, now, I know that this is an album by The Residents, but when it first came out, it was released as a 7-inch record only. All the songs that are on side 1 of the Duck Stab / Buster and Glenn album are from this record here. There's side 1, there's side 2. Number 5, Give Peace a Chance, backed with Remember Love, by the Plastic Ono Band. Yeah, this is the original picture sleeve for this record by John and Yoko. Found this in the wild and got it for like 25 cents. Whew! Number 6, a remake, but a wonderful 81 oldie, 1981. It is Soft Cell with Tainted Love. And the flip side is Memorabilia. And number 7, the last single by The Jam, Beat Surrender, with Shopping on the B-side. And there's the label if you want to see it. 7 7-inch records for your entertainment. Okay, so I was answering all the questions. I did my 7-inch records, and then my computer stopped working and I had to restart it, and all of a sudden all the questions and my answers to them are gone. Okay, well, let's go to question number 8 and see if I can remember who or what I was going to answer. Okay, question number 8. Who's coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people to come to an imaginary dinner party, past or present. Who would you invite? Well, trying to remember who I would invite. Well, Peter Hamill, who is most famous for being the frontman of Van de Graaff Generator. Steven Wilson, who has had the opportunity to remix and re-release many, many classic albums and is quite an artist on his own. There were 2 other people. Les Claypool of Primus, one of my favorite bass players and a very diverse musician in his own right. And just for the hell of it, I would invite Miles Davis, even though he's dead. But hey, it's a science fiction question. I'd have Miles Davis come in and he would probably tell everybody how untalented they were and how wonderful he was. But hey, he was Miles. All right. Question number 9. We lost them. Choose one musician who passed away in 2023. Well, there were a lot that really hit me hard. Jeff Beck being one of them. Ahmad Jamal, Les McCann, both Ryuichi Sakamoto, and Yukihiro Takahashi of Yellow Magic Orchestra. But the one musician that passed away that had the biggest impact on me was Wayne Shorter. Master composer, master player. From what I could tell, quite a cool dude. Very sorry to see him go. Okay, here comes another science fiction question. Number 10. Imagine you could only listen to music from one country. What country would that be? So, okay. Now we're out of where you can only listen to one decade and you can only listen to one country. Well, that's going to have to be the United States, because even though there's lots and lots of great stuff in the UK and also stuff from Canada and Germany, the United States probably has the biggest diversity of artists because of the melting pot that is the United States. So for this question, USA, USA. Name 3 vinyl community channels that you discovered in 2023. Okay. One is Johnny G's Vinyl Treasures, where he plays 45s. Another one is a guy who lives not far from where I do. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and he lives in further West County of Ohio. Channel called Near Wild Heaven. Shows a lot of cool stuff. Now, I wanted to say Abigail Devoe, but I think I discovered her more than 1 year ago. And also Robert Fitton I discovered more than 1 year ago. But man, if I could only recall. This stinks. I had all my answers written down and now they're all gone. I'm really upset. Oh, I remember the other one. Malcolm Tent, who is a recording artist, bass player for Anti-Scene, a record seller, a record producer, and a pretty cool guy. Met him at the Devoe fan convention back in September of 2023, and he's going to be there in the next year. He's been there previous years. Very interesting cat, and he does a once a week 1 hour show called Tent Talks Tunes. And if you like music on the fringes, you might want to check him out. Show a record that you bought when you were a teenager. Okay. I bought this one in 1976 when I was still in high school. And it is, I believe this is the second album by Crack the Sky called Animal Notes. Great band. All the songs are written by John Palumbo, who played keyboards and sang. And of course, the electric guitar passengers were conceived and played by Jim Griffiths and Rick Witkowski. The rhythm sections were created by Joe McCree, or Joe Maker, who then played them on the bass in conjunction with Joey D'Amico, who played the drums. The songs were written and sung by John Palumbo, who also played the keyboards and some acoustic guitar. And this is a really cool band. Almost cartoonish, almost prog, power, stories, and lyrical interplay. I loved this band for a long time. And that's what I bought. Way back when. Okay. Show a funk or a soul record. That is question number 13. Speaking of stuff I got when I was a teenager or close to it, yeah, this came out in 1977. It's Brick. Yeah, these guys are cool. They were formed out of 2 bands. One was a jazz band, one was a disco band, and they put out some pretty funky stuff. I know that they had some other hits, but I only have this album by them, and I love the first song on side 2 called Doozik, which rhymes with music. But yeah, these guys, very funky, very good players. Brick. Number 14, show a record you think everyone has, and then show a record you think nobody has. Well, Come on, just about everybody has a copy of Abbey Road. And I've got several copies. So, the record that nobody has, almost nobody has. Well, that's easy. It's got to be this one. Meh, by Spudlok. Because this is my record. I released this in 2023. And if you don't have it, you should have it. This is quirky, silly, weird pop. Music recorded between 1988 and 1992 by myself and my friend Ty. And it is pressed on audiophile quality vinyl. It's got the lyrics inside of it. And very few people have bought this, and there's only a limited amount of these things to go around. So if you want it, go to spudlok.bandcamp.com. But you know what, to be fair, I should pick something that I think nobody else does have. Okay, I don't know if anybody has this or not, but I've never seen a copy of this anywhere else except for my record collection, because it was given to me by the artist who did it, Brian Sands, who passed away a few years ago. The name of this is Reheated Chocolate Tangos. It is on red vinyl on Bizarre Records. It's got some naughty stuff on the back cover, so I really shouldn't show it. I believe this has, let's see, The Day the Elves Could Fly, Orange Tango, 54321, Baby You're a Rich Man, very interesting cover of that. The Donkey Night, White Chocolate, Shoe. Okay, there's a song that sounds like Captain Beefheart on this album, but it's written by Brian. But like I said, he redoes the Beatles' Baby You're a Rich Man on here. And it's kind of cool, a little artifact, and I will hold on to this forever. Okay, question number 15. She's Great, a record by a female artist that you bought in 2023. Well, one of the two members of this band is female, and that band is 100 Gex. This is some crazy stuff. Here's the wonderful purple vinyl record. These are the two members of the band, upside down. And the female on this album is Laura Less. And the other guy is Dylan Brady. But, yeah, this is just very manic, crazy music. I love it. And it came out in 2023. 10,000 Gex by 100 Gex. And a big, big thank you to Michael Pilmer, a.k.a. Devoe Obsesso, for turning me on to this band. Because when you write a song called Doritos and Fritos, and it makes you jump up and down, that's a good thing. Question number 16. The favorite video you posted on your channel in 2023, and the favorite video you watched on the vinyl community in 2023. Well, the video that got the most views on my channel this year was the 21 records I had listened to the most, or it's called 21 records I listened to an awful lot. But my favorite video was the one I made after that, about 10 really unusual or weird records. I got a lot of great response from that, and it was a lot of fun to make as well. And the favorite video that I watched, that's really hard. Probably has to be a tie between Michael Fremer and his visit to, I believe it was a Universal master tape storage facility in Pennsylvania. And the other one was Abigail Devoe's A Brief History of MC5, which is about a 3-hour-long video. That was pretty epic. Of course, there's lots of others, but those are the ones that just stick out in my head, because I had them all written down, and for some reason I lost them. Show me a record that you would describe as a 90s classic. That's an easy one. 1993. And this is the first album I ever heard by a group called Primus, Pork Soda. I remember moving into an apartment with my buddy Todd, and we finally got cable hooked up, and we were watching MTV and saying everything on this channel's flesh. But then My Name is Mud came up from this album, and wow, our minds were exploded. I just said to myself, man, they're making music for us again. This is a 90s classic, Pork Soda by Primus. Next question. If I could walk into the cover, look into your collection, and choose a record cover you'd like to be a part of. Yeah, you know what? This was a really tough question for me because I looked and looked and looked and looked, and I just could not think of anything. What album would I like to see myself, or what situation depicted on an album cover would I love to see myself on? And it took me like 2 weeks before I thought of something. And it ended up being this album right here. Yep, Spend the Night by the Donnas. Take a look at that. Or better yet, I'm just going to put the cover on the screen. Okay? 4 gals who really know how to rock at a pajama party. Why wouldn't you want to be part of that? So yeah, I'd put myself on that album cover. They'd probably say, go home, old man. Go home to your wife. Question number 19. It's like a greatest hits. Show a record you're so familiar with that it feels like a greatest hits. Oh, very easy. The very first Tubes album. Man, when this came out, I just devoured this record like it was nobody else's business. Back to front, front to back. Listened to it over and over again. Made a cassette of it. Kept it in my car. Man, all the songs. Up from the Deep, Halos, Space Baby, Malaguena Salirosa. And then on side 2, I'm not even going to pull out the record to remember the songs. You've got Mondo Bondage, What Do You Want From Life, Boy Crazy, and last but not least, White Punks on Dope. What a fantastic album. It's like every song is a hit. Let's see, did I get all of those right? Let me double check. Yep, the Tubes. Their first album's like their greatest hits. Number 20. Show me an album that was released in 1974. This is very cool. It's Egg, The Civil Surface. Fantastic prog, Canterbury paste prog. Kind of Hatfield in the North kind of prog, kind of Caravan, kind of Capability Brown, kind of Camel, but mostly instrumental. It's got Dave Stewart on organ, piano, and bass, Clive Brooks on drums, and Mont Campbell on bass, voice, French horn, and piano, with the background singers of Amanda Parsons, Ann Rosenthal, and Barbara Gaskin, and Steve Hillage plays guitar on one of the songs on this. And also there's a couple of members of Henry Cow and Slap Happy playing woodwinds on this. Very nice record. 74, yeah. Prog, yeah. Good album, yeah. Glad I got it. Okay, those are the 20 questions. Have fun with the questions. Rob Walker, what hath you wrought? And as for all of those other tags, man, now I know why I didn't want to do a vinyl tag last year either. It's just a bunch of work. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And by all means, buy my record. I'll put the link down below. Or hit me up. I'll find a way to get you my album. because it's an album that you can go to Bandcamp and listen to it. Check it out. All right, I'm talking too much. Later, folks. Had a great time. Hope you did too. Now go listen to some music.